The ceremony will begin in 1 minute. Welcome to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. Join us as we welcome back the classes of 1970, 1971, and 1972 as they celebrate their 50th anniversary.
If you got love, that's all.
please direct your attention to the video boards.
It's a new day at a new Carolina.
We made it, Tar Heels.
Today is our day to celebrate our accomplishments and our resiliency.
A day to say goodbye to a place we will always call home.
We started out strong. We fell right in with time-honored traditions and added our unique heel print.
And even when the world sent us home, we knew we'd be back.
We came back to a new Carolina, stronger and ready to face inevitable change.
We saw changes on campus,
On the court,
and on the field.
We faced it all with a bring it on attitude, ready to bounce back and embrace our new Carolina.
We know that things will change, but the heart of UNC will always remain.
from days in the sun forming long-lasting friendships,
to the smiles you shared over long meals in the dining hall.
You'll carry those memories wherever you go next, a permanent heel print on your hearts.
Today, we're ready to face what changes come next.
Because there will always be changes.
but we will always be Tar Heels.
change all you want, because Carolina will always be home.
And today, we're emerging as new people from a new Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chancellor Kevin Guskowitz and distinguished members of the Platform Party and faculty led by Faculty Marshal Jay Icutt.
Welcome to the class of 2022 commencement exercises of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. It is so good to see you all gathered here this morning, and we are all excited to celebrate your accomplishments and mark this moment together. Please stand as cadets and midshipmen of the Army and Navy Reserve Officer Training Corps units at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill present the colors, and then please join together in song as Kennedy B. Miller Marshall Scholar, and vocal performance and English major from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, leads us in the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please be seated. First, happy Mother's Day to all the moms here today. We are grateful you are here to celebrate this important occasion with your family. The last time I stood before you as a class was during your convocation 4 years ago when you entered Carolina. And that feels like a lifetime ago to me, so I can only imagine what it feels like to all of you. I'm not going to quiz you on what I said that day. I had to go back and look myself. But I talked about how you were about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. 4 years of challenging classes, deepening friendships, life-changing study abroad opportunities, internships, and mentors, and so much more. I offered my sincere hope that before graduation, you'd get to rush Franklin Street and celebrate a basketball win alongside a joyful rush of your fellow Tar Heels. I know you've had a stranger and harder journey than most in your time at Carolina, but I hope that most of those hopes came to pass. Hubert Davis's Tar Heels certainly delivered on the rushing Franklin Street part. Putting an exclamation point on your final semester here in Chapel Hill. We didn't get a 7th national title, but by the end of this extraordinary year, that felt almost beside the point. Something about this team felt bigger than a banner, and I think there are lessons to be learned in that. So, if you'll indulge me, I've been a professor of exercise and sports science at Carolina, and a Carolina fan longer than I've been a chancellor. and I want to share 3 things I learned from this year's history-making run by our men's basketball team. First, there is something powerful about playing like you have nothing to lose. Nobody at the start of this season had this team pegged for a national title. It was Hubert's first year as head coach. A lot of our players were still growing into their talent, still finding their stride. And there were some early losses that raised doubts about whether we'd even see the Hills in the NCAA tournament, let alone standing tall through the final buzzer in New Orleans. If you had Carolina going all the way in your bracket, you are either a super fan or a super optimist, and I salute your dedication. But instead of coasting through the season, writing it off as a building year, this team embraced the freedom that comes from soft expectations. They relished the joy of surprising critics and delighting the people who were rooting for them. And there is real joy in outclassing your skeptics, going above and beyond what anyone expected of you. This team didn't internalize the doubts of others. They let it rip and prove that destiny is not fixed. You get to write your own story, no matter what someone else has written for you already. Second, most of life's successes come not from honing your personal talent or focusing on your own ambitions, but when you build a genuine love and respect for the people alongside you. The thing people noticed about this team it was this season was that they took this season from mediocre to marvelous, is that they learned to play as a team. Coach Davis made it a priority to meet with the players every week to talk about life, about friends, family, off-court goals for their time at Carolina. They got to know each other as people, not just teammates. Those bonds make all the difference in the clutch. You work harder for those you love. Put in the extra effort. Make the extra sacrifice. Relationships bring meaning to everything you do and make even the toughest moments something to cherish. So make time to build those bonds. Look for teams that value that bonding. Celebrate a culture of respect and affection because the world needs more of both. Finally, this team didn't hide the struggle. They knew what admitting when things are hard, asking for help when you need it, is a sign of strength, not an admission of weakness. One of the best things I read all year was a New York Times article about Leaky Black, who rose to the occasion during some of the most important moments this season. But it wasn't a story about Leaky's talent on the court, the brilliance of his passes or his intense defense. It was about anxiety, about turning to prayer, meditation, and therapy to work through the very real pressures of life. He said, "I spoke from the heart." And I'm so glad he did. Because, you know what? People embraced him. His team embraced him. This campus and this community embraced him. And because of that, Leaky and his teammates helped deliver an extraordinary season for all of us. Everyone has moments of doubt and struggle. Everyone has moments when they need others for support. Don't carry it alone. Speak from your heart and invite others to do the same. All of us are here today by the grace of our own hard work and generosity of others. It takes both. The teachers and family members who have cheered you on, the generations of North Carolinians who have worked and sacrifice to build this university, and the friends and classmates who steadied you over the last few years and celebrated alongside you. It's been a beautiful spring here in Chapel Hill. The warming, brightening days we all needed. You're doubting that today, but the sun's coming back out, I promise. But this is the send-off that you all deserve. I'm grateful for it, and at the same time, it magnifies what we missed for the better part of the past 2 years. What you sacrificed during the height of your college career so that we could all get through a difficult time. I say this to every class, but I will say it especially to you. We want to see you back here in Chapel Hill. You have earned more days in this magical place than you were able to claim, but you've got a lifetime to make up for it. May your class reunions and homecoming weekends be legendary in all the right ways. May you be like the Carolina classes of 1970, 71, and 72 who have been celebrating with you all weekend and are here with us in Kenan Stadium today. A round of applause for those three classes. Class of 2022, thank you for your sacrifices, for your achievements, your embodiment of all that Carolina is meant to be. Congratulations. It is now my pleasure to introduce my distinguished colleagues on the platform. I'll call their names and ask them to stand and to remain standing, and please hold your applause until I have recognized everyone. Chris Clemens, Provost. Ron Strauss, Executive Vice Provost and Chair of the Commencement Committee. Amy Johnson, Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Lauren DeGrazia, University Registrar. Jill Moore, Secretary of the Faculty. Katie Musgrove, Chair of the Employee Forum. Amy Hertel, Executive Vice Provost. Theodore Nillart, President of the Graduate and Professional Students Government. Jay Icat, Faculty Marshal. And Deans of the Schools and College. Dean Terry Rhodes, College of Arts and Sciences. Dean Martin Brinkley, School of Law. Dean Wesley Burks, School of Medicine. Dean Fouad Abdal-Halik, School of Education. Dean Angela Kashuba, the Eshelman School of Pharmacy. Dean Suzanne Barbour, the Graduate School. Dean Doug Shackelford, Kenan Flagler Business School. Dean Ramona Denby Brinson, the School of Social Work. Interim Dean Heidi Hennick Kaminsky, the Hussman School of Media and Journalism. Dean Gary Marcianini, the School of Information and Library Science. Dean Barbara Reimer, the Gillings School of Global Public Health. Interim Dean Ed Swift, the Adams School of Dentistry. And Interim Dean Peggy Wilmont, the School of Nursing. And Dean Mike Smith, the School of Government. Members of Carolina's Board of Trustees, Rob Bryan, Jean Davis, Perrin Jones, Allie Ray McCullen, Ralph Meekins, and Vinay Patel. Also on stage are your senior class officers, Juan Castro and Charlie Robinette. There are many constituencies that make up this great university, and with us today are representatives to bring greetings. Representing the Board of Governors is Chair Randy Ramsey. Representing the Board of Trustees is Chair David Bolick. Representing the General Alumni Association Board of Directors is Chair Dana Simpson. And representing the faculty, Chair Mimi Chapman. We begin with Chair Ramsey.
Good morning. Are you all awake this morning? Did anybody go to sleep last night? I don't think I could have. I tell you, the excitement of being here this morning, I'm fired up, and I'm sure all of you are. On behalf of the University of North Carolina System Board of Governors and President Peter Hines, it is my distinct pleasure to greet the graduates, their families, UNC Chapel Hill's distinguished faculty, staff, alumni, and the Board of Trustees. To each one of our graduates this morning, I'm honored to be here celebrating your hard work. As I look out in this crowd this morning, even though some are covered in blankets, I have no doubt that North Carolina and this nation will benefit from your talents, skills, and enthusiasm. Today serves as a monument to the investment each and every one of you has made in your future, an investment that will serve you well as you embark on your next great adventure. After years of classes, research, internships, and the nights of study, you're standing here ready to take all you've learned and apply it to the rest of your lives. While you may not remember every detail of this commencement celebration in the decades to come, I hope you'll never forget the years of effort that led up to this moment. I want to leave you with a few pieces of advice I often give young people. Follow your dreams and be passionate about your work. Whatever your goal, know that you can accomplish it. We're all talented and put on this earth to do something special, and each of you will. Put forth the effort, and there's no way you won't be successful. Graduates, you've earned your degrees. Now enjoy the celebration and move on to the next chapter of your life with the same conviction, industry, and dedication that brought you to this place today. Congratulations, graduates. We're excited to see how you continue to grow. Give yourselves a round of applause. Even as we celebrate commencement, it's very important to recognize the contributions of faculty and staff here at Carolina. It's my privilege today to present this year's Board of Governors Award for Excellence in Teaching. This board was established by the Board of Governors in 1994 and is presented annually to the a tenured faculty member from each of the UNC campuses. This year's recipient from UNC Chapel Hill is Dr. Jeffrey Sayre McCord. Okay. I'd like to ask Chancellor Gusquet and Professor Sayre McCord to come forward, please. I think you got a fan base, Doctor. Dr. Sayre McCord is a Moorhead Cain Alumni Distinguished Professor in Chapel Hill's Department of Philosophy, where he teaches philosophy and ethics. UNC students and alumni speak with gratitude about Professor Sayre McCord's impact on their professional and intellectual lives. In addition to his superb classroom work, Professor Sayre McCord is the founder and director of the Philosophy, Politics, and Economics minor at UNC, and he wanted to make sure that I talked about that. He's the founder of the National Philosophy, Politics, and Economics Society, and the former director of the Parr Center for Ethics, and the founder of the National High School Ethics Bowl. I think the good doctor may know a little about ethics. Professor Sayre McCord, it's a privilege to celebrate your accomplishments today. We thank you for your dedication to teaching and service. In honoring you, we'd also like to acknowledge the thousands of dedicated faculty members who teach the nearly 250,000 students across the UNC system.
Thank you.
Come down.
I'm not sure what we're at.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Chancellor, members of the platform, fellow trustees. Not only are our trustees, their parents as well. Trustee Brian's daughter, Elizabeth, is in the crowd graduating today. So we are parents as well as trustees. Thank you for the opportunity today to say congratulations on behalf of the board. Today does not mark an end, it marks the beginning of your life as a Tar Heel. The university was just an idea more than 230 years ago. And you are the latest group of graduates to experience this great experiment in public education. As a graduate, you are now part of the Carolina story. But your Carolina story is yours, and it's yours alone. Remember it, keep it, but know that what you take from Carolina will change over time, and that's okay. So I can illustrate by an example of how your Carolina story may change. The Chancellor mentioned this morning what happened a month ago in New Orleans. But I'm going to take you to the Wayback Machine. I see the wind is on my side. There were 6 seconds left on the game clock in Kansas City when UNC basketball player Joe Quigg stepped to the free throw line and knocked down 2 free throws to secure a 54-53 3-overtime win over, Kansas for the National Basketball Championship. Mr. Quigg is up in the Pope box, and he's here today. The year was 1957, and that banner hangs in the Smith Center. But Mr. Quigg's Carolina story did not stop there. He actually broke his leg and missed his senior season, which was the next year. And instead of a professional basketball career, he earned 2 degrees from UNC and became a successful dentist, a father of a graduate, and today, the proud grandfather of Kaylee Quigg, who's graduating. So I'm going to ask you to be like Joe. Don't fear the challenges that life gives you. Don't fear change. Embrace it. Pivot. I don't think I need to say anything about COVID. I think we're done with that. If you're like me, you're exhausted with that. But know that your time here has prepared you for what comes ahead. My hope for you is that you've been inspired by this place, that you will use that inspiration to attack the impossible, make things happen, change the world. I can say one thing I know for sure, we're counting on you. No pressure. So here goes 3 quick pieces of advice. First, take care of yourself. We're all learning not to be afraid to take care of our mental health. If you think you need help, please get it. You are a loved member of the Carolina family. Second, and the Chancellor mentioned this as well, know that when you travel away from Chapel Hill, you will be surprised at the respect you get from having been here. Most of you will leave this place. Some of you may stay. In either case, come back to campus. Go to a football game, go to a basketball game, take part in something that you loved on campus. Get involved. I have no doubt there are future trustees graduating today. Know also that this place will change, but it will be here for you, and you will have the opportunity to change it. The campus, after all, is just a place, and the university is its people. Finally, and this goes along with my comments about being inspired, I would ask each of you to remember that one-off class that class that wasn't connected to your major. You will be surprised at the things you learn from those classes, and they will come to you at unexpected times. For me, that class was movie criticism. In class, we saw and discussed classic films, one of which was the film Casablanca. Many of you are way too young to know that movie. That was an old movie when I was in school, and I graduated in 1990. Maybe your parents and grandparents know it, but in that movie, Humphrey Bogart is the star of the movie. He's got some classic lines. Some of you have maybe even heard those lines. I'm sure most of your parents have. For example, here's looking at you, kid. At one point, the movie, Bogart's character's ex-girlfriend walks in and he says, of all the gin joints and all the towns and all the world, she walks into mine. Great lines and stuff that you will use every day. Even if you're a great researcher, a doctor, a lawyer, or whatever, I've used those lines and some of the stuff I've learned at Carolina in all kinds of settings. Job interviews, cocktail parties, all kinds of places. You will be surprised when that comes to you. And if you don't want to take my word for it, ask the folks that graduated in 70, 71, and 72. It made me look a lot smarter than I probably am. So I'm going to leave you with one that you can take and use, put in your back pocket. This one's from me and the movie Casablanca. At one point in that movie, Humphrey Bogart looked deep into the love of his life's eyes, played by Ingrid Bergman. He lost his lover to another man, but he reminisced with her about the love affair they had in France. And he said to her, "We'll always have Paris." So take my advice, own that line today from here forward. Change it around. And when you're somewhere, someplace, and somebody from that school 8 miles down the road that's a darker shade of blue starts talking about how great their sports team is, I want you to take a deep breath, point at whatever logo you have on your clothes, because we know all of us Carolina people wear it, right? Remind them that you graduated in 2022. Stare them deep in the eyes and say, well, I don't know about that, but we'll always have New Orleans. Go Heels.
That's a tough one to follow. Good morning. Congratulations, class of 2022. It is a great day to be a Tar Heel. After years of hard work, many late hours studying, bottomless mugs of coffee, and perhaps, just perhaps, a few blue cups, you have earned your degree from Carolina. You and your family can be justifiably proud. As the chair of the General Alumni Association, let me welcome you to the largest and only permanent part of our Carolina family. You are now among 350,000 Carolina alumni. That Carolina family includes the classes of 1970, 71, and 72 that are with us on the field today, celebrating their 50th class reunions. A special thank you to these great alumni, leaders like Richard, Doug, Jill, and Nell, for all that you have done and continue to do to lead and support our university. The General Alumni Association is the official organization for all former Carolina students. We will keep you informed about our great university, keep you connected to your classmates, and help you find fellow Tar Heels across the country through local Carolina Club events, wherever you may be. And let me assure you that Carolina clubs across this country held a lot of events last month, and they were packed and full of happy, cheering Tar Heels as our basketball team defeated, as Chair Bolick said, that other university 8 miles away in the greatest Final Four game of all time. You were a Carolina student for a few short years, but you'll be a Carolina alumnus forever. Homecoming football games will take on a different meaning as you come back to connect with classmates and share your Carolina stories with your future family members. The General Alumni Association will help you take Carolina with you wherever you call home. Congratulations on this great accomplishment, and welcome to the ranks of your fellow Carolina alumni.
Hello to the class of 2022. I'm Mimi Chapman, chair of the faculty, and the other day I read an article in the Daily Tar Heel about what graduating seniors would like to tell the classes below them. The article ended with the student saying, "Don't take anything for granted. It is wisdom for the ages." The article was talking about not taking your moments here in Chapel Hill for granted, to remember that your time here is short in the scheme of things, and to enjoy or at least notice the moments as they come and go. Remember the moments when you worked really hard in a class that you thought you couldn't succeed in. You will feel that way again, but because you persisted and you figured it out, you will know that you can do it again. Remember when you were awestruck by a work of art or a performance or a poem read aloud in class. Remember the moments with your friends, old and new, when you had a great talk and the time of your life at a party when we won the big game. A great pleasure of being a faculty member here is bearing witness to some of those moments, or sometimes the aftermath. We love to watch you learn and grow, and we love to be a part of that process, whether it's in the classroom, on Zoom, in the lab, outside on a beautiful day, at a lecture backstage, and on the playing field. And although your next paths may take you across the globe or down the road, this place on the hill will always be here, a place for you to come back to, both literally and figuratively, to remember who you were when you started out, a touchstone by which to measure your choices as your life unfolds. If the pandemic has taught us anything, it is truly to take none of it for granted. Your faculty are proud of you and will be cheering you on. Congratulations to the class of 2022.
Thank you, Dr. Chapman. Commencement is an opportunity for us to recognize extraordinary and accomplished individuals who embody the mission of this great institution and inspire us all. Each year, the faculty selects these individuals for distinguished service to the university, the state, the nation, and the world. Upon these individuals, we are privileged to confer honorary degrees in recognition of their exemplary achievement and impact. At this time, I call upon Provost Chris Clemens to lead the ceremony.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I have the honor to present Frank A. Bruni, Jr., who has been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees for the Doctor of Letters.
Frank Bruni is an internationally renowned journalist whose writing has covered an extraordinary range of topics. He's worked for major newspapers as a religion writer, a war correspondent, a White House correspondent, a restaurant critic, an op-ed columnist, to name just a few. His intellectual breadth is reflected in his best-selling books addressing matters ranging from presidential politics to college admissions to comfort food. He has received the GLAAD Media Award and the Randy Schultz Award for his coverage of LGBTQ issues. Bruni received a BA in English in 1986 from UNC Chapel Hill, where he was a Moorhead Scholar, Phi Beta Kappa, and a writer for the Daily Tar Heel. He earned an MS at Columbia University School of Journalism, where he finished second in his class and won a Pulitzer Traveling Fellowship. In 2021, he was appointed to the faculty of the Sanford School of Public Policy at Duke University, where he was named a Eugene C. Patterson Professor. Frank Bruni is a Tar Heel. Frank Bruni is the Eugene C. Patterson Professor of the Practice for Journalism and Public Policy at the Sanford School of Public Policy. For outstanding accomplishment in journalism, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is pleased to confer on Frank A. Bruni, Jr. the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I have the honor to present Algernon Lamont Marbley, who has been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees for the degree of Doctor of Laws.
The Honorable Algernon Lamont Marbley has served the United States federal judiciary with distinction for nearly 25 years and now serves as the Chief Judge for the Southern District of Ohio. He has written opinions on some of the most important issues of our time, including environmental justice, voting rights, racial discrimination, health care, prisoners' rights, immigration, and criminal justice. His jurisprudence has forged a legacy that will leave a lasting impact on the law. While a student at UNC Chapel Hill, Marbley served as president of the Black Student Movement and worked tirelessly to make the campus more welcoming to minority students. He was inducted into the Order of the Golden Fleece in 1975 and graduated in 1976. He subsequently earned his JD from Northwestern University in 1979. Before becoming a federal judge, Judge Marbley practiced law in Chicago and served as Assistant General Counsel for the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. He was nominated to the Federal District Court in 1997 by President Bill Clinton. For outstanding accomplishment in jurisprudence, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is pleased to confer on Algernon Lamont Marbley the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I have the honor to present Millie Ravenel, who has been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees for the degree of Doctor of Laws.
Millie Ravenel founded the North Carolina Center for International Understanding in 1979 and served as its executive director for 32 years. During her tenure, more than 8,000 North Carolina policy, business, and community leaders and educators were taken abroad to 48 different countries to study culture and best practices while building international business connections. Participants expanded their worldviews, learned benefits of trade with other countries, identified job creation and foreign direct investment, learned to integrate new residents from other countries into their own communities, and brought the world back to North Carolina. After retirement, Ravenel founded the American Friends of the Bajío, which supports education and infrastructure in rural migrant communities in Mexico, in partnership with a local community foundation. She has received multiple honors, including the Reconocimiento Otli, one of the highest honors bestowed by the government of Mexico on those outside its borders, North Carolina's Order of the Longleaf Pine, and the Sharon S. Mujica Award from UNC's Institute for the Study of the Americas. For outstanding accomplishment in international understanding, collaboration, and leadership, the University of North Carolina is pleased to confer on Millie Ravenel the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I have the honor to present Eddie Smith, Jr., who has been recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees for the degree of Doctor of Laws.
Eddie Smith is a North Carolina philanthropist, a businessman, and an alumnus of UNC Chapel Hill, whose leadership and financial contributions have had an enduring impact on the university and the state. The philanthropy of Smith and his family has supported the UNC Lineberger Cancer Center, the Keenan Flagler Business School, UNC Athletics, and the Department of Music, where he established the Joe Allison Smith Scholarship in honor of his late wife. He has also served the university as a member of the UNC Chapel Hill Board of Trustees, the Education Foundation Executive Committee, and the UNC Board of Visitors, as well as serving as co-chair of the Keenan Stadium renovation project. Smith is the chairman and CEO of Grady White Boats. The conservation of North Carolina's rivers is another cause that he has supported generously with both his time and financial resources. His many awards include the General Alumni Association's Distinguished Service Medal, the William Richardson Davey Award, the Citation for Distinguished Citizenship from the North Carolina Citizens for Business and Industry, and the American Sport Fishing Association's Lifetime Achievement Award. For outstanding accomplishment in philanthropy and service to the university community, the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is pleased to confer on Eddie Smith, Jr. the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
Is it warming up yet? Oh, come on. We're just getting started. So as you've just heard, Frank Bruni is a truly prolific writer, a proud Carolina alum, and someone who embodies the open-minded curiosity that journalism is all about. In his 25 years with the New York Times, Frank has been a Metro reporter, covered presidential campaigns, served as a White House correspondent, overseen the paper's Rome bureau, dined out as a widely beloved restaurant critic, and found his voice as an incredibly insightful op-ed columnist. He's also written 5 books, including a bestseller about the craziness of college admissions, a memoir about his childhood, a campaign tell-all, and a book of meatloaf recipes. I told you he was prolific. In all of that time, he's been a great friend to this university, returning regularly to visit classes, mentor students, and speak up for the value of public higher education, and as a member of my college think tank. Last year, Frank took a half step away from the New York Times to become a professor at the Sanford School of Public Policy at Duke, teaching media classes about journalism, politics, and the changing role of media in our democracy. While he may be teaching classes in Durham, Frank made his new home right here in Chapel Hill, just a few miles from our campus. You can often find him exploring trails around Carolina North with his dog, Regan. Frank's latest book was released in March, and it's a must-read. The Beauty of Dusk is a meditation on resilience and on the joy to be found when we find connection through vulnerability. It's a book for this moment and a graceful testament to a life well lived. Life isn't a flat, straight, smooth road, Frank told the class of 2020 in a video message he recorded during those harrowing first months of the pandemic. Life dips and rises and curves and U-turns, he said. We have certainly had dips and rises over the last few years, but I'm grateful the road has finally brought Frank Bruni to the commencement stage in person to celebrate this extraordinary class. Join me now in welcoming your speaker and my friend, Frank Bruni.
Greetings, class of 2022, and to cut to the chase, congratulations. You're in this stadium looking gorgeous in Carolina blue because you've survived years of torment as well as triumph, of panic in addition to celebration, of knotted stomachs and racing hearts and fingernails bitten to the quick. But we're not here to talk about Carolina basketball. That we're here at all, our smiles unmasked, each of you less than 6 feet from each other, feels like a minor miracle. There's light at the end of the tunnel, and we should all bask in it. And let's reserve a few words for the most beloved people in this stadium today. Moms of Carolina, happy Mother's Day. I can't tell you how honored I am to be here with you and how moved I am, because Carolina has such a special place in my heart. I spent my own college years here working past midnight at the Daily Tar Heel, rushing before the exam to finish the Iliad, to skim the Iliad, never quite making it to the pinnacle of Paradise Lost, probably because the chicken biscuits from Time Out weighed me down. They were the perfect sponges after a late night of excess. Yeah, not that I ever indulged in a late night of excess. Actually, I did many questionable things, many foolish things. And the most foolish one of all was this. I missed my own commencement back in the Mesozoic era, by which I mean 1986. I can't remember the exact reason or even if there was a particular reason, but I'm sure that it reflected a tendency of mine back then, a tendency of mine for too many years after that too. I confused aloofness with sophistication. I mistook cynicism for smarts. And I failed time and again to feel and show adequate appreciation for the good fortune in my life. Please don't make that same mistake. That's my simple plea to you today. That's my advice as you graduate into this messy, beautiful world of countless challenges and endless possibility. You have many, many important choices ahead of you. Where to live, which jobs to take, whether to get married and to whom, whether to have children and how many. But none of those choices will have as much bearing on your decency as a human being and on your happiness, your fundamental enduring happiness, as a choice that you will make monthly, daily, even hourly. And that's whether you're going to be somebody who counts her blessings or somebody who tallies her slights. Do you take humble stock of the good luck in your life, or do you take angry inventory of the bad? Do you savor your strengths, or do you stew about your weaknesses? I used to be a champion stewer. I could sulk with the best of them. I mapped the roads that were closed off to me rather than the roads wide open. I had countless complaints when really I had none at all. And it took the sudden threat of blindness for me to see that. 4 years ago, I woke up with seriously blurred vision. Days later, I was told that I'd had a rare stroke, that my right eye would never again function properly, and that the same thing might happen to my left eye, and I could go blind. I struggled to read as smoothly and fleetly as before. I struggled to write without feeling woozy and disoriented. I was in shock, and then I was really scared, and then I gave melodrama a whirl, regaling my friends with my misfortune and telling them, yes, there was something they could do. They could meet me at the side of my fainting couch with a martini shaker and gin. Why me, I asked, the two stupidest words in the English language. Why not me? I did a mental survey of the people around me, and I realized that every one of them had suffered great loss or overcome great pain or was dealing with great hardship. They were widowed young or a child of theirs had passed away, they had Parkinson's, or they were just starting chemotherapy. My diagnosis wasn't some singularly awful thing. It was just my thing. Something about that shift in thinking led to other shifts. My vision improved, not the vision measured by an eye chart, but the more meaningful kind. I saw how rich I was in terms of family and friends. I saw that the clarity of the objects around me had no connection to the sharpness of the ideas in my mind. Yes, it was more difficult to work, but editors still wanted that work. So did readers. That was the relevant reality. My advantages easily outweighed my disadvantages. I wish I'd had that perspective before. I wish some half-blind curmudgeon in a gown had harangued me about it. Your past few years have been deeply frustrating ones. The pandemic hit and boom, your social interactions were curtailed. Your professors were digital. Cherished campus rituals were off limits. Many of you felt cheated, and with good reason. But you know what? In crucial ways, you got a better education because of it. You learned things about yourself and about life that you might not have otherwise. You learned that fate really does turn on a dime. You learned that trouble comes when and how you least expect it, and that you can survive that trouble. You learned that there's no one way of doing things, that there are almost always ingenious alternatives and cunning workarounds. You learned that we humans are a uniquely adaptable species, adept at replacing forbidden diversions with fresh ones, taking our cocktail hours online, fashioning digital versions of birthday parties, finding salvation in sourdough cultures. And you can choose to take comfort and confidence from that. You can regard what you've been through as empowering. That's the trick of happiness. That's the key. You can agonize over what happened in the second half of that final game against Kansas, or you can exult in the fact that you were one of the last two teams standing, and that you got there by beating a university down the road that I respect greatly, but shall leave unnamed. The habit of mind and heart that I'm talking about sometimes gets filed under the heading of optimism or resilience. Or resilience, or optimism, or gratitude. I lost my way, sorry. That's where, it's the overlap of all three that I'm talking about. That's where you'll find a special kind of wisdom and a special tool for contentment. Several years ago, a colleague of mine, John Leland, published a beautiful book about his time with people over 80 years old and what he'd observed about those who thrived. That cheerful cohort embraced their agency over their emotions. As John wrote, take the blue pill and you're bemoaning life without the sharp memory or the job that once made you special. Take the red pill and you're giving thanks for a life that still includes people you love. You can go to a museum and think, I'm confined to a wheelchair in a group of half-deaf old people. Or you can think, Matisse. The title of that book, Happiness is a Choice You Make. I came to this stadium yesterday to test the teleprompter, and I was suddenly flooded with anxiety and anger. The angle of the screen, the size and the shimmer of the text, they represented a potential disaster for eyes like mine. I cursed my lot, but only briefly, because then I thought the extraordinary privilege of being here with you eclipses any snag. So what if I resort to a printout or I stumble? I still get this moment. I still get this memory. I'm not recommending complacency. I want you to coax the best from the people around you and from yourselves. I want you to reach high and dream big. We're all counting on that. Some of those dreams will come true. Others won't. That ratio won't determine the buoyancy of your heart or your peace of mind, because those aren't ruled by any arithmetic. They're governed by attitude, by whether you fully cherish the highs and find grace in the face of the lows. Master that, and you've mastered everything. Again, class of 2022, I congratulate you.
Thank you, Mr. Bruni. We now turn to the official conferral of degrees. Let's take a moment to recognize our outstanding undergraduates. These seniors are exceptionally accomplished students who exemplified the highest possible level of undergraduate scholarship. Will the candidates of baccalaureate degrees with highest honors please rise and remain standing? Will the candidates of baccalaureate degrees with honors please rise and remain standing? Congratulations to each of you on this outstanding academic achievement. You may be seated. I will now call upon the deans of the university in the order of the anniversary date of each college or school to present their candidates for doctoral, master, and baccalaureate degrees. For the College of Arts and Sciences, Dean Terry Rhodes.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees in the College of Arts and Sciences. Will these graduates please rise?
For the School of Law, Dean Martin Brinkley.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I'm pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees in the School of Law. Will these graduates please rise?
For the School of Medicine, Dean Wesley Burks.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you recipients of degrees in the School of Medicine. Will these graduates please rise?
For the School of Education, Dean Fuad Abdel Khalik.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I'm pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees in the School of Education. Will these graduates please rise?
For the Eshelman School of Pharmacy, Dean Angela Kashuba.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees in the Eshelman School of Pharmacy. Will these graduates please rise?
For the Graduate School, Dean Suzanne Barbour.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I'm pleased to present to you the recipients of the Masters of Professional Science degree. Will these graduates please rise?
For the Keenan Flagler Business School, Dean Doug Shackelford.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees in the Keenan Flagler Business School. Will these graduates please rise?
For the School of Social Work, Dean Ramona Denby Brinson.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of the degrees in the School of Social Work. Will these graduates please rise?
For the Hussman School of Journalism and Media, Interim Dean Heidi Hennick-Kaminsky.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees in the Hussman School of Journalism and Media. Will these candidates please rise?
For the School of Information and Library Science, Dean Gary Martinini.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees in the School of Information and Library Science. Will these graduates please rise?
For the Gillings School of Public Health, Dean Barbara Reimer.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees at the Gillings School of Global Public Health. Will these graduates please rise?
For the Adams School of Dentistry, Interim Dean Ed Swift.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am pleased to present to you the recipients of degrees in the Adams School of Dentistry. Will these graduates please rise?
For the School of Nursing, Interim Dean Peggy Wilmoth.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I am very pleased to present to you the recipients of the degrees in the School of Nursing. Will these graduates please rise?
For the School of Government, Dean Mike Smith.
Chancellor Guskowitz, I'm pleased to present to you recipients of degrees in the School of Government. Will these graduates please rise?
At this time, I'd like to ask that our 4 honorary degree recipients please stand. And now, will all degree candidates please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in the University of North Carolina by the state of North Carolina and by the university entrusted to me, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which the faculty has certified you, together with all the rights and privileges thereunto pertaining, and I offer you my warmest congratulations. Please be seated. Congratulations, graduates. You now join the over 340,000 living alumna of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, a worldwide family you'll belong to for the rest of your lives. You're going to turn those tassels and toss those caps soon, I promise you. But before you do, one more thought from me. I've loved being your chancellor this year. I love that. I've loved being your chancellor this year and every year. I don't think there's a more photographed landmark in North Carolina than the Old Well, which is right outside my office window. I can look out and see people taking pictures in their caps and gowns, visiting students, snapping selfies, and taking a sip from the fountain. I do it every day. I also witness marriage proposals, actual marriages. I've witnessed alumni couples sharing memories together, Tar Heel grandparents bringing little ones to run around the brick walkways and imagine a Carolina future for their grandchild. I hope to see you out there as often and as long as you are able. I hope that you will tell stories of Carolina, connect with old friends, and advocate for the University of the people. My goal is that you will always be proud to take that photo in front of the Old Well at your alma mater. Before we bring up the president of the senior class, it's my honor to continue another Carolina tradition. Will the families and friends of our graduates please rise? Graduates, it's your turn to say thank you. I also want to take an opportunity to thank all of our staff and support teams across many departments who have worked tirelessly to make it possible for us to gather here today. Please join me in a round of applause for these dedicated Carolina employees. And to our world-class faculty who are down in the front row here, a round of applause. Thank you for being here to celebrate today. I now invite Juan Castro, President of the senior class, to say a few words on behalf of the class of 2022. Congratulations and go Heels.
Class of 2022, we made it! Amazing, yes. When I was reflecting on my time at Carolina, one word came to mind: persistence. Persistence is defined as continuance in a course of action. I stand here today and reflect on the persistence of those who came before me, paved the way, and those who left everything for me to be where I am now. For me, I saw persistence being modeled through the action of my parents, two immigrants from Central America who left everything behind at a young age to come to the United States and find a better life. Their persistence is why I am here. In my time at, yes, give them a round of applause. In my time at Carolina, I saw how persistence is at the core of student life. Many of you here are first-generation college students like me and had to navigate college on your own. As UNC students, we had to push through long nights at the library or the infamous circles around campus trying to find parking. As student leaders, we advocated for all as we experienced changes on campus. We faced challenge of virtual learning and persisted to get to where we are today, sitting in Kenan Stadium surrounded by family and friends. We even saw how persistence led an underdog basketball team to play in the national championship our senior year. Yeah. As we leave our final heel print here on campus, remember all we overcame as a class. Your journeys at Carolina are ones that have been marked by your persistent strive for success, your curiosity that sparked innovation, and your fervent dedication to the Carolina community. Today and always, reflect on your accomplishments, celebrate with those you love, and always remember our home away from home, Carolina. It has been my honor to serve as your president, but above all else, to be your classmate and peer. Class of 2022, once again, congratulations and go Heels. Sorry, I forgot another line. I would now like to introduce the UNC Clefhangers, who will perform Carolina in My Mind, followed by Dean Terry Rhodes, who will perform Hark the Sound. One, two, three, four.
In my mind, I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? And ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
Karen, she's a silver sun. You best walk away and watch it shine. Watch her watch the morning come. A silver tear appearing now, and I'm crying, and I'm gone to Carolina in my mind.
There ain't no doubt in no one's mind that love's the finest thing around. She whispers something soft and kind. Congrats! Hey babe, the sky's on fire and I'm dying, ain't I? 'Cause I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. In my mind, I'm going to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm going to Carolina in my mind. Dark and silent late last night, I think I might have heard the highway calling, with geese in flight and dogs that bite. Other signs that might be omens say I'm going, I'm gone to Carolina in my mind. With a holy host of others standing around me, and still I'm on the dark side of the moon. And it feels like it goes on like this forever. You must forgive me. And if I'm up and gone to Carolina in my mind, in my mind I'm gone to Carolina. Can't you see the sunshine? Can't you just feel the moonshine? Well, ain't it just like a friend of mine to hit me from behind? Yes, I'm going to Carolina in my mind. Gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone to Carolina in my mind. Gone, gone, gone when I'm gone. Say nice things about me when I'm gone. Won't you carry on without me when I'm gone?
Let's all stand and sing together. Hark the sound. And sway. Hark the sound of Tar Heel voices ringing clear and true, singing Carolina's praises, shouting NCU, NCU. Hail to the brightest star of all, clear its radiance shine. Carolina, priceless gem, receive all praises thine. 'Cause I'm a Tar Heel born and a Tar Heel dead, and when I die, I'm a Tar Heel. So rah-rah Carolina, rah-rah Carolina, rah-rah Carolina. Go to hell, dude!
You know, I just got engaged in this stadium last week, but I'm ready to get out of here. So, as the Vice President of the class of 2022, I am privileged to lead you in the moving of your tassels from right to left. And I now call upon Juan and Kennedy to join me in the leading of the cap toss. So stand up. Yep. On the count of 3, let's throw those caps. 1, 2, 3.